we jump into the let's jump into the Ubisoft one that we saw. It's only like 4 minutes long, so depending on what they talk about, this may be a short video, or God help us, this may turn into an hour, depending on what is said in the video. It is a Hero Hey. The Hero Hey videos are the shortest videos we watch and tend to be my longest reactions because I usually have a lot to say, but we shall see. Well, you talking about the Hero Hey one? Yeah. Okay, Kaibo, have a good night. Alright, let's see if we're getting more information about Ubisoft or not. Yeah, I saw that, Bobcat. It is a bit long though, and I need to let it cook, so maybe I might do that next weekend. But let's see if there is actually something new for Ubisoft.
Back in October, there was talks of a potential buyout over at Ubisoft, which interestingly enough, followed an open letter by AJ Investments, one of Ubisoft's largest shareholders, in which they essentially accused the—
Wait, gotta read this. So, to the board of directors, CC Mr. Yves Guillemot, CEO and Chairman, Tencent Holdings, Guillemot family, Ubisoft shareholders, Blackstone. Urgent call for strategic and structural changes. Dear members of the board, dear fellow shareholders, as a significant minority shareholder in Ubisoft Entertainment via AJ Investments and our partners, we are writing to express our deep dissatisfaction with the current performance and strategic direction of the company. The recent quarterly results, which included the postponement of key games like Rainbow Six Siege and The Division into the 2025 lineup. Oh! I did not know that there was Rainbow Six and The Division. Like, are they talking about The Division, Heartland DLC? It's chat. I thought that the Heartland for Division got cancelled. Is that? I wonder if that's what they're referencing here. No, I know Siege is a Ubisoft title. I didn't know that there was something being developed for it. Yeah, like this is. Oh, I'm trying to remember when the announcement about Heartland being axed came into play. I cannot remember when they made the announcement that the Heartland DLC was like gone. And lowered revenue outlook for the Q2 2024 have heightened our concerns about the management's ability to deliver value to shareholders over the long term. Share prices at Ubisoft have decreased by more than 40% over the last year, compared to the rise of its competitors and indexes. This letter consists of the following points, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, notice who it was CC to. It was CC to, Yves Guillemot and Tencent. It's basically a letter from a minority shareholder expressing. It's basically a minority shareholder saying, Ubisoft, you're fucking up. We need to talk about what alternatives we have at this point. That's basically what it is.
Open letter by AJ Investments, one of Ubisoft's largest shareholders, in which they essentially
wait, okay, yeah, you're right, September 9th. What? Thank you. Does anybody remember when they canceled Heartland? Does anybody happen to remember that? Cause I don't. I think it was before. I want to say it was before September that they announced cancellation of Heartland. I think. I feel like it was before. I feel like it was before September that they announced cancellation of Heartland. In which case, this one has me questioning. Well, I thought it was canceled, but postponed. Yeah, apparently there was going to be a Heartland expansion for The Division 2. And it got canceled. But I think it was before September that they announced that, which if this came out in September, what's this talking about a postponement into 2025? Unless I'm getting my timing wrong.
Followed an open letter by AJ Investments, one of Ubisoft's largest shareholders, in which they essentially accused the Guillemot family and Tencent of colluding to damage the company in order to...
Oh. We believe that Guillemot family and Tencent are discounting potential value of Ubisoft in order to buy more shares at lower valuation and eventually take full control of the company at heavily discounted valuation. Oh.
Cheer 100 May 15, 2024.
So I'm not crazy right yet. So are they planning on so was there something planned for 2025 now? Oh. I am now intrigued. And of course, Ubisoft is... whoever is writing this is saying that they think that the Guillemot family and Tencent are discounting the value. I don't think so.
Lower the
They're
share
failing
price
every
in
turn.
which they could then buy up more shares at a heavily discounted
Maybe right
valuation. AJ Investments then demanding that Yves Guillemot, the current CEO of Ubisoft, resign, amongst a number of other changes. One of those other demands, including to take the company private. As interesting as that news already was, it became even more interesting because the next month after that open letter, other news began to break that Tencent and the Guillemot family were looking to consider buyout offers of Ubisoft. Guillemot family being the largest...
Thank you, Kinito. Oh. Yeah, they've got the highest percentage. Yeah.
And the Guillemot family were looking to consider buyout offers of Ubisoft. Guillemot family being the largest shareholder of Ubisoft stock at 13.9%, and Tencent being the second largest holder at 9.7%.
Heartland DLC was canned cause the code was too outdated and switched to focusing on Division 3.
Oh. Okay. Rotax? I did not even know that they were working on Division 3. I had no idea. The last thing I knew is that they were still like cooking Division 2 and that they were making that. And I thought that they canceled Heartland because, for whatever reason. Well, Day 10, it's a question of how this is going to work. If Tencent and the Guillemot family buy out Ubisoft, and they don't like break it up, maybe. The problem is if Division 3 does go ahead, it may end up being microtransaction hell. So,
and Tencent being the second largest holder at 9.7%. And that news still continuing to proliferate, as just the other day on December 6th, Insider Gaming had wrote, Ubisoft buyout talks continue as stock trading temporarily halted. Further going on to say the talks surrounding a potential buyout at Ubisoft continue to pick up steam. After reports first surfaced in October of a buyout to take Ubisoft private, the Guillemot family have continued to have discussions with potential partners. In a new report by Reuters, Ubisoft's owners have continued discussions with Tencent and other investors regarding a buyout of one of the world's largest game studios. According to the report, the Guillemot family has made it known to potential buyers that it wants to retain control of the company. The speculation by AJ Investments certainly does seem like it could have merit, as Ubisoft has constantly been seeing all-time lows, downtrending for literal years. If the Guillemot family does indeed think that things can actually turn around for Ubisoft, then they probably wouldn't want to sell now near the bottom. Instead, they'd rather retain control of the company, meaning they keep all their shares, in order to eventually sell at a higher price per share. That takes us to a write-up from Derek Strickland, where he
flaw with that logic. I highly doubt the Guillemot family thinks that Ubisoft can turn around at this point. They've been taking loss after loss after loss, and with upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, that's going to probably be one of their biggest losses to date. Because basically, the end result of the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be one of two things. It's going to result in either a buyout, or it's going to result in a shutdown. Ubisoft may be big, but they've been taking so many fucking hits lately. I honestly see that as being one of the only two options for Ubisoft at this point. Because Assassin's Creed is not going to be a success. It is not. It's going to fail. It's every indicator is showing that it's going to fail. It's going to fail spectacularly. And the outcome is either the outcome is either going to be they get bought out, or they fold. Because I think they flat out said that they've basically put everything into Assassin's Creed Shadows. And if Assassin's Creed Shadows fails, like it will, the bottom's gonna come out. So it's literally just a question of is Ubisoft going to fold or is it gonna get bought out? And it's gonna get bought out. That's obviously what's gonna happen. They're gonna scramble for an emergency escape route. That escape route is gonna be getting bought out by Tencent. Like maybe even in a joint effort between the Guillemot family and Tencent. It's gonna get bought out and sold. But Ubisoft will be no more. At least in its current form.
Summarizes a post from industry expert Joost van Drunen, where Joost had said, Ubisoft is headed for privatization and dismantling in 2025, with its share price plummeting from $28.19 to $12.30 year over year. The company has become an attractive takeover target. Its valuable assets, particularly Rainbow Six Siege and the Assassin's Creed franchise, could be worth more separately than together. The upcoming AC Shadows faces stiff competition from PlayStation's Ghost of Yotai, and recent failures suggest deeper organizational issues. Beyond individual game performance, Ubisoft's development approach remains stubbornly outdated in an era of demanding player engagement and community building. Without a fundamental shift in how they develop and maintain games, they risk further alienating both investors and players. The XDefiant shutdown isn't just another failed launch, it's a symptom of a company that insists on catering to a passive audience while failing to recognize the urgency to rethink distribution.
Key point of note here. They could be worth more separately than together. Can you imagine if the Assassin's Creed license got sold to who's this? I guess PlayStation writ large. But can you imagine if the Assassin's Creed license got sold off to PlayStation to sort of as a complement for Ghosts of Yotai? I mean, let's face it. PlayStation was already doing essentially Assassin's Creed with the Ghost series.
Tier 100 don't mean to interrupt. Yes, day and poor writing and gameplay were a huge part of its downfall. But we also have to acknowledge the lack of expendable funds to buy $70 games in 2024.
Well, one is kind of sort of synonymous with the other. It's like they kind of go hand in hand. Because since people don't have the expendable funds to buy $70 games now, the games that they do buy have to be good quality. And when they're putting DEI bridge facets into it and coupling with poor writing, people are not going to want to spend those $70. If they make a game that is not only graphically pleasing, but is also pleasing from a story and character perspective, people will spend those $70. But because people have to spend $60, $70 for a new game these days, they will not spend it on a game that looks like shit in the months leading up to its launch, like what's happening with Assassin's Creed Shadows. And while graphically Assassin's Creed Shadows looks nice enough, although we did see that one video of drunken Japanese where they looked at the trailer of Assassin's Creed Shadows and oh boy with their problems. It's the story largely that have people going, I don't want to have anything to do with this. And that goes hand in hand with the I don't want to spend $60 or $70 of my hard-earned money on shit that looks like this. So it's I wouldn't say one is exclusive to the other. They work in cooperation with one another, I think. And the fact that Ubisoft is refusing to acknowledge this, sure, yes, the state of the economy expedited this downfall. Yes, certainly. I take your point there. It's, again, the contributing factor that's expedited the downfall. So, Bobcat, I don't want to know. Please, no talking about doing illegal purchases in my chat, for God's sake.
Catering to a passive audience while failing to recognize the urgency to rethink distribution. For those not familiar with the XDefiant news, we'll just read like one paragraph here from CNET where they say Ubisoft's XDefiant is shutting down in 2025. Despite a strong launch in a competitive market, XDefiant's concurrent player count tapered off by the tail end of 2024. Ubisoft had high hopes for its free-to-play first-person shooter, XDefiant, which launched back in May, but now the publisher has announced plans to wind the game down and fully shut it down by June 2025, according to a blog post from the publisher's official website on Tuesday.
And it's not going to be until June 2025. It's going to shut down sooner than that. Yeah, no, Revan, like I said in the video we watched before, XDefiant looked okay. XDefiant didn't look bad. It looked okay. But in this market, especially the arena shooter market, okay is not good enough. And Atanashi, I don't think it will. I think I said last time when we watched the other video about XDefiant shutting down, I think it's going to shut down. I think the servers are going to shut down in April. I don't think it's making it to June. I suspect March, maybe April, they're going to kill it. Because they've already stopped, they've already, nobody can download it anymore.
The employees will probably claim that as consumers are bigots, racists, and misogynistic.
Reasonably sure they already have Holocron. I'm reasonably sure they already have. And to which everybody went, oh no, moving on.
Tuesday. All of this is to say that 2025 is shaping up to be an extremely important year in Ubisoft's history, and perhaps even one that eventually marks the end of Ubisoft as a public company, which of course also means that the upcoming release of AC Shadows is going to be all that much more important as well, to which things are not looking good there either. As for example, Assassin's Creed executive producer Mark Alexi Cody even talking about how half the devs working on AC Shadows are new and think the game looks terrible so far. So if AC Shadows does end up underperforming financially, it could mean that the
Yeah, did you guys see that? It was in another video. I can't remember if it was a Red video or an Asmon video. That the the guy, I think the art director or something in charge of Assassin's Creed Shadows, said like half the devs, number one, never worked on a game before. This is like their first game, and I think this was the one where they had like the making game for dummies book while they were working on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, most of them did not know how to make a game. This was their first time making a game. And even they said, this doesn't look good. Like, during the development of the game, they were saying, this doesn't look good. So they knew it was shit while they were making it.
Already dying stock will be even worse off. All of this buyout news occurring around the time that AC Shadows is set to launch, on top of the accusations leveled by AJ Investments, make the entire situation even more interesting. And we'll ultimately see if financial analysts use predictions that Ubisoft ends up getting dismantled and taken private throughout 2025 end up ringing true. Let me know what you think about all the stuff regarding Ubisoft and what you think about AC Shadows too. As always, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed my coverage. Consider liking and or subscribing if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.
That statement that he made about that it's worth more separate than apart has me wondering if Ubisoft is going to actually get personal buff. If they are going to start selling off their franchises to other big studios to either stay afloat or to try and come up with some kind of golden parachute for their executives. That I think may be one of the only ways for them to come out of this with anything. Because like they've got like the entire Tom Clancy, like they basically have two major franchises. They've got the entire Tom Clancy franchise and they have the Assassin's Creed franchise. Those are their two biggies. The Star Wars stuff, they don't do enough of it to make an impact. But the Tom Clancy stuff, especially, if they sell off the Tom Clancy franchise to another game studio, that, they parcel off that in Assassin's Creed. It may actually enable them to stay alive, to try and do something, but, well, I'm thinking what I'm wondering is if there's some kind of a buyout, then doing a preemptive sale of their IPs is a means for the executives to get like a golden parachute for when the company gets taken over and they resign. Because that's what'll happen. If the company gets bought out, the executives will be forced to resign. And this way, they will have perhaps, by selling off these giant franchises for a tidy sum, they might be able to pull some financial shenanigans to give themselves golden parachutes when they leave. And then they can leave with a couple $1 million in the bank each. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm wondering if they're going to be trying to do. It may not. They may just say, fuck it. And, who knows? Well, yeah, Guillemot is the CEO. I'm sure he's fine. But, I'm talking about, the other executives. Yeah, Lumiere, we're talking about Ubisoft and how it's going to die soon. It's on how it's on the way out. I don't know. Well, let's see. It's 2020 when 2025 hits. 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for the games industry, I think. Revan, no, not Frontier. Arrowhead maybe, not Frontier. Reason. Frontier is actually a small development company. Frontier is not big. And I would much rather Frontier maintain its focus on doing all these great things with Elite than get an influx of a huge IP like Siege. I honestly think Siege is... Frontier is the wrong dev for an arena shooter like Siege. Arrowhead, maybe, but not Frontier. I leave Frontier alone, let them continue to keep working on Elite, because what Frontier is doing with Elite is bringing in more people. We are seeing an increase in Frontier. Psychodives, thank you for the follow. Yeah, Frontier, do you guys remember what we looked at for Elite on the Steam charts a couple weeks ago? It was only 3,000 players, I think, was where Elite was at, just 2-3 months ago when we looked at the Steam charts. Elite Dangerous on PC had a player base of 2,300, maybe 3,000 players. This is it currently. This is the current player count. We have a almost 10,000 player 24-hour peak. And as of 18 minutes ago, 6,600 people are playing. That's double. Look. Look at the increase. Jump. And it's because they're making all of these strides for actually increasing the playability of the game. And yeah, I'm thrilled that people that have come to my chat, that have seen me play Elite Dangerous, that have heard me talk about Elite Dangerous and things that I do on it, have been like, hey, I want to try that game. That looks fun. And they've tried Elite, and I hope are having fun with it. I'm happy that I'm able to contribute to Elite Dangerous gaining in any popularity, even no matter how small it might be. I'm thrilled about that because I love playing Elite Dangerous. That's why on my days off from work and streaming, I'm usually on Elite Dangerous with the Fuel Rats, helping people out, new players that just joined and need our help. I love doing it. I do. It's fun.